Hey guys, I'm back again. Today I'm gonna do a nice veggie soup using my Sambhar masala. Sambhar is a lentil and a vegetable soup from South India. We're gonna use those principles to create a nice, warm, wintry, vegetably, lentily thick soup. And I like to keep the vegetables chunky, not blitz it. You can have it with some garlic bread. Let's get started. We'll take some nice extra virgin olive oil, about a tablespoon. Add just a tiny bit of this beautiful spice cumin. If you don't have cumin, don't worry about it. But if you do, the taste is absolutely divine. About half a teaspoon of cumin. As the cumin sizzles in the oil, we'll add some garlic. Allow the garlic to beautifully brown a bit. Don't burn it. No one likes burnt garlic taste. In most of the vegetable soups that I make, I prefer to keep the veggies chunky. And as I've said, you've got to have a bit of a bite. And if you're not a meat eater, having something to just bite into, the texture in the soup, well, that to me is always a winner. The smell of garlic in olive oil, heaven. And to take it to the next level, we're gonna add in our onions. We'll season it with a bit of salt. And as always, you don't put all the salt at once. You season in stages. The onions are looking a bit opaque. Now we add in some finely diced carrot. We'll add in a little more salt, just a tiny pinch to help break down the carrots. Okay, in goes the taters. I've cut them into smaller cubes so that they break down fast and our soup gets starchy. That is about 1 can of cooked lentils. In India we use dal and we cook it at home, but these lentils are available in all supermarkets. So if you'd like to use dal from home instead of lentils, go ahead. But I wanted to help those guys who are not that proficient in cooking and would want to use some canned food. So 1 can of lentils. Just make sure that you drain the water and just use the lentils. Now let's add in my Sambhar masala. You should add at least 1 teaspoon of it. You could add more, but anything lesser you will just not feel it. And I've put about 4 teaspoons. You can add more, you can add less. That depends on your individual preference, but always use at least 1 teaspoon of it. In go the beans. About 100 grams of canned tomatoes. Now this is winter, fresh tomatoes are hard to come by, so I'm using canned tomatoes. But if you were to make this in summer, I'd use 150 grams of fresh tomatoes. In goes. Bit more salt. And now I'll add in 500 mils of vegetable stock. You could use water as well, but I prefer vegetable stock for the richness that it brings in. And 750 mils of water. I'm gonna check for some seasoning. I think it needs a bit more salt. Grate in a tiny piece of ginger. We're gonna squeeze in half a lemon. Mix it all in. Let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes on very low heat, and we'll come back to it. That lentil soup has been cooking now for 15 to 20 odd minutes on low heat. I've just cranked up the heat again. Let's just see where we are. Oh, brilliant. The canned lentils are not as rich as, using soaking fresh lentils and cooking them, but that's all right. It is comfort food after all. If you want more body onto the soup, so what I prefer doing is taking some of those potatoes and just mashing them up on the side and just stirring it all back in. Although I've used my traditional sambar masala, but this soup tastes nothing like a sambar. It's very different. It is very wintry, very hearty, vegan. But I guess even if you were to make this into a vegetarian or a meat soup, it would work just fine. The more you stir the soup, the thicker it's gonna be. I think I just want it at a point where it's not too thin, not too thick, so that I can take that wonderful sourdough bread, dip it in, and have a wonderful dinner. Let's check the seasoning. I think it could use some more salt. I'll cut the heat, finish it off with some freshly chopped coriander. Dinner's ready.